It's been nearly 20 years since the Exxon Valdez oil tanker struck a reef in Alaska's Prince William Sound, causing an epic natural disaster. The environment is recovering slowly, but Byron Pitts reports many fishermen may not.
This was John Platt, a fisherman from Cordova, Alaska, back in the good old days. Back in the 80s, when an Alaskan fisherman could work hard and make a good living. That was then. This is now.
My current financial situation is terrible.
He still earns his living fishing, but today John Platt is deep in debt, waiting on a check he will never cash.
My net worth is negative right now. Negative.
Platt is one of the 32,000 original plaintiffs in a lawsuit against corporate giant Exxon Mobil following the Exxon Valdez oil spill in 1989. 11 million gallons of oil spilled along 1,300 miles of Alaskan coastline. The fishing industry was devastated. It was the worst disaster of its kind in U.S. history. Company executives promised to make everyone, quote, whole.
Whatever it takes to keep you whole. Now you have my word on that, Don Cornett. I told you that.
Don Cornett retired in 1996. He says Exxon hired fishermen to help clean up the spill in 1989. Fishermen like John Platt, who made nearly $600,000 that year. In total, ExxonMobil spent more than $3.8 billion in cleanup costs, fines, and compensation. But in 1994, an Anchorage jury found Exxon acted recklessly and awarded victims of the spill $5 billion in punitive damages. An appeals court later cut that award in half. But after nearly 15 years in appeals, the case finally reached the U.S. Supreme Court last year, where the justices reduced the $2.5 billion in punitive damages to just over $507 million. Platt's share of the settlement is expected to be close to $400,000, but he owes the state of Alaska $600,000 for his commercial fishing licenses, so his check will go straight to the state. But here's the kicker. He still must pay the taxes on it.
A lot of people just aren't going to make it.
At least 6,000 of the original plaintiffs have died, and 8,000 have liens on their settlements, ranging from child support to back taxes. Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski.
I think that's been Exxon's strategy every step of the way, to wear everybody down. They've succeeded in fatiguing those who were entitled to this compensation.
Osa Schultz and her husband got their checks last month, about $50,000. They are still in debt.
We'd always expected that the settlement would make a big difference and bring us back. It didn't even come close.
She testified before Congress last year about the corrupting influence, she says, big business has on the political and legal system.
Exxon's vast power and influence has tipped the scales of justice. For nearly a generation, our community has been the David to their Goliath.
For its part, ExxonMobil declined our request for an interview, instead issuing this statement saying in part, the Exxon Valdez oil spill was a tragic accident and one which the company deeply regrets. Nearly 20 years later, the legal battle is not over. Both sides are awaiting an appeals court decision to see if ExxonMobil has to pay interest on the $507 million award. That decision could come as soon as this month. Byron Pitts, CBS News, New York.
Coming up next.